Last Day on Earth finally releases a great update, and then in the midst of us enjoying it, they release a patch that ruins everything. I've been covering Last Day on Earth for 3 years, and starting about 2.5 years ago, I've started to notice a trend with Kefir that their algorithms seem to be sabotaging their own game. The first time we saw this was in update 1.6 when they added copper and oak into the game. They made the grind for those resources 28 to over 100 times more difficult than what we had previously enjoyed in the game, making us realize that something was wrong in their algorithms on what we wanted to actually grind for. Since then, we have seen it in dogs, many of the events they've added, in the seasons they've added, and so many other places. I've had lots of conversations with devs, and the general feeling that I get is that grinding is part of being a gamer. That isn't the exact words they use, but that is the impression that I've got. And while it is true that grinding is part of gaming, those of us that are gamers know that the only time that grinding should really be in a game is if the game is fun enough or motivating enough to encourage us to grind to where it's not painful. Anytime grinding becomes painful, anytime grinding seems like busy work, then it is immediately a bad part of the game. So in this most recent update with Sector 7, they created an awesome update with a really good sense of progression through Sector 7. And while there was quite a bit of grinding in Sector 7, it was enjoyable because reaching high business levels seemed attainable and something that we could progress through quickly. But as players started to engage with Sector 7 and advance very quickly, the devs made a patch making huge changes like this. You can see from these pictures that the requirements of getting to those higher business levels of Sector 7 are now between 3 to 10 times harder to achieve. These are obviously drastic changes, making Sector 7 a lot more grindy. So the question we ask ourselves is, why do the devs of Last Day on Earth keep making changes like this? We tell them that we don't like how grindy it is. They finally make an update that creates a lot of hype and people are doing it and running after it, and then they make a patch that ends up killing a lot of that hype. I believe the answer to this question lies in Kefir's algorithms. I've talked to the devs of many Kefir games, and a lot of them refer to algorithms that they have to adhere to as they are creating balance in the game. I remember at one time talking to the devs of Grimsoul Survival and asking them to increase the durability of the items that we got from the loot of the dungeon, and they explained that the durability of those items that we get are based on an algorithm that also considers the amount of durability of armor that we will use to do that task. This is of course very smart of Kefir to use an algorithm to make changes so that you don't accidentally make something way too easy or way too hard. However, I believe that Kefir's algorithms are sabotaging their own games because those algorithms are set to make the game too grindy. Now, I have no doubt that part of this problem is Kefir's monetization model because they need to make sure that people are buying different items from them. And probably those algorithms are based on how much people will purchase based on that ratio of what it takes to get that certain reward. But this is where I think Kefir's algorithm is missing a very important key aspect that is causing them to sabotage their own games. In Frostborne, which is Kefir's more advanced, not released game yet, I have noticed the devs have made a lot of changes lately that have made us go through the durability of our gear faster, which has made the game a little bit more grindy. I've already told the devs about it, and the game designers of Frostborne have done a really good job of listening to the game community, so I think that they will fix it. But I think that part of the reason they haven't fixed it is because of this same algorithm. And the flaw in this algorithm is even more clear in Frostborne because it is very easy to see that the best way to get rid of durability, the best way for us to consume our stuff, is by making more opportunities for PvP. If we had more opportunities for PvP, we would automatically go through a lot more durability, but instead the algorithm seems to be pushing us to go grind more regardless of factoring in PvP, which got me thinking about Last Day on Earth and Grimsoul and all of the other Kefir games that seem to be getting more and more grindy. I think the factor that their algorithms are missing out on is players coming and playing the game more. I think their algorithm is based on how much money they can make per download or how much they can get from that one update, but their algorithms are failing to factor in the general snowball hype that happens when you make a game that is truly intuitive to a gamer. So to Kefir, I know you watch my videos. I want to beseech you to take a step back and reanalyze your algorithm and also reconnect with your gamer spirit. I know you guys are gamers. When I look at your website, I think, man, I want to work at Kefir. Y'all's Wednesday gaming day sounds awesome. And I see it in a lot of the videos y'all post about your company. I know you guys are gamers, and so think back to what made Last Day on Earth successful. You guys were gamers making a game. And even though Last Day on Earth probably in the early days wasn't making a ton of money per download, I assume, otherwise why would you have changed it? But it still made you a lot more money than Forge of Glory ever made you, and it was enough to send your whole team to the Maldives. So I think that it made you a lot of money. And maybe that wasn't a lot per download, but the explosive growth, that hype train, is what created so much money. And I realize that it is hard to categorize and put an algorithm that type of hype. You can't necessarily predict that that much hype will happen in your game. And when you can't test things, when you can't manage things, it makes for bad business. I get that, but at the same time, I know you guys are true gamers, so keep in touch with that and take care of your community, and we're gonna be there for you. We are going to play good games, so just make good games. A lot of us are still here covering Last Day on Earth because we know what you are capable of, and we still believe in you. Even though the changes you've been making, especially since season started happening, have not really been that promising. That being said, if I'm right in some of my other theory videos, you guys are purposely sabotaging things. Maybe you're wanting to get a really high income per download and you're not wanting to create a lot of hype while you still develop your game off in secret. If that's the case, then I guess ignore this, but it would be really nice if you could give us like a little hint of hope. A lot of people on my channel think I'm crazy for still believing in you. They think you've lost touch with what it's like to be a gamer. And to my subscribers, my opinion is that Kefir is just experimenting on us. Even though it's not listed as a beta on Google Play, the devs call it a beta, and I think they're treating us like beta testers. So if you do not want to be tested on, then I do not recommend playing Last Day on Earth or really any of Kefir's beta games, because it seems like they are experimenting on us. They want to know what we are doing, and I think that they are purposely doing things that aren't necessarily good for their company or good for the game, just to get more information and learn more about gamers and how we think, so that when they do finally release something and they finally produce that awesome game, they will know and they'll be able to produce a really awesome game. But until then, I think we're just lab rats. They are just wanting to learn about how we think, and once they get the information they have, and once they finish, I guess in secret, whatever they're making, then they'll finally show us the work that they've been working so hard for. All right, guys, see you next time.